Okay, ladies, listen up. When it comes to leadership, we can be extraordinary when we lean into our natural strengths. So what are those strengths exactly? I talked to the CEO of 822 Group, Maury Fontanez, to find out.
I love our subject today because you are encouraging us women to lean into our natural strengths. What areas of life are the things that we are naturally good at? A good area to use those skills.
You know what? I work a lot with leaders, and for me, it's about female leaders leaning into their natural leadership qualities. And I really think that us as females do a couple of things really well that sometimes I don't think we own. One of them is that we have a great deal of intuition. We have another kind of information source that we can feel in our bodies, that we get gut feelings about, that I think sometimes we don't lean into. And the other really big one that I worked on with female CEOs is that we actually, as women in business, really understand how to integrate our emotions and manage those emotions in the way that we work. The misnomer that women are overly emotional is actually not true. We as women know what to do with those emotions because we embrace them. And if we're really leaning into it, we integrate them in the right way instead of trying to shun them or push them away, and then the emotions come out sideways.
I've tried to fight that before because I'm a natural crier, like when I'm happy or when I'm sad. And so in the business world, I'm always like, don't cry, sweetie, don't cry.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I think it's because it's been seen as a sign of weakness. But I think when I say emotion, there's a range of emotions, right? There's anger, there's excitement, there's a lot of things that actually you see male leaders do very openly. And this is not a dig, but men are also very emotional. I just think as women, our strengths are, we actually know how to utilize that and how to integrate it because we've always had to kind of fight back against that notion that we're overly emotional. So we know what to do with those emotions. I think we process them in a natural way.
Okay, so for people who are saying, all right, I want to lean into my natural strengths, what are some of your tips for us and how we incorporate that into business life?
Well, I think the first one is, I always say that validation is truly the biggest obstacle in our path to being ourselves and to being our natural selves. So I really think the first one is to get into relationship with your strengths and be your own validator so that you don't need that from anyone else. Because what I say is that when you're aligned with your own higher self, you're operating at a higher frequency. And that means that people that are not at that frequency won't have the tools to validate you. So you're not going to get that validation, and that you have to be very okay with that. That would be tip number one. The second is really lean into your intuition. When you're in an interaction or in a meeting and you walk away feeling funny, really be inquisitive and curious about what that is, because it's going to lead to really interesting decisions, to better leadership moments for you as a leader, and it's going to inspire others around you, men and women, to be really self-aware because they too will get curious about the way they're feeling about things. And I think that's how we build more kind of authentic, organic leadership, regardless of your gender.
I know you've done a lot of studying of women leadership in different business environments. What is it that you see when it is a woman leading the company that does kind of trickle down to all of the employees and how the business is run?
Yeah, I see two sides of the spectrum. I'll start with the side that isn't so pleasant, and then I'll end on a high note. Okay. I think that when us as females feel like we have to position ourselves like the male leaders that we've seen, what I see in those environments is toxicity, unfortunately, because we aren't doing the work to truly be ourselves. We're trying to be something else. And when we're trying to be something else, we act out in ways that is not necessarily for the highest good of ourselves or those around us, those that we're leading, and we can't really inspire people. On the other side of the spectrum, I've seen phenomenal female leaders who so lean into who they are. And what I see in that culture then is there's a sense of family and collaboration and almost joy in being there that I see. And I also think that sometimes in those environments, people are really productive because there's not this, I don't know what to trust. they're trusting each other, they're trusting that environment, and so they can focus on getting the job done and on leaning into their own strengths. I think that when you have a powerful woman leader who does that, then other people are taught to raise their frequency too, and not waste their energy trying to bend down and hide their light.
I love that. For more encouragement from Maury, you can always follow her on Instagram. She is at Maury Fontanez.